Hello, fellow programmers. Welcome back once more to this animated PLC course. And in today's class, we're going to analyze the PLC categories. These are the real categories. They're not, so to speak, categories where most people get confused, which is modular and embedded, which remember, they are PLC categories, but according to inputs and outputs, they're either embedded or modularly independent. So there are basically three categories: low tier, mid tier, and top tier. So I created a very simple presentation, and my intention is not extending this more than 10 minutes. So without further ado, bottom tier or lower tier PLCs are the ones where it's not necessary to use these PLCs with more complex processes. These lower tier PLCs we may find with very simple applications. When they're, for example, conveyor belts in a manufacturing company where they're just starting to manage their processes. And little by little, they start adjusting and changing them, which are certain things like making a mixer turn, and also that the processes are not working 24/7, but maybe they're working 5 or 6 days a week, but not working 24 hours a day. Let's say that they take a little bit more maintenance time, procedures, those types of situations. That's the ones where we would use our low tier PLCs. I have some examples here. We have our logo PLC. This is a low tier PLC. And we have our Pico Logics Allen Bradley PLC, obviously low tier. And its main characteristic, its advantages, is that they are very inexpensive. So most of us actually, we're programmers that are starting up. Just so that you can get an idea, I got these, let's say, both ranges, economical in dollars, so that you can get an idea on how much they cost. Where if someone tells you, oh well, they're offering me a PLC mid tier, I'm sharing you the prices, the regular prices, public prices, directly from the retail, which these are new PLCs. If you're looking for them on Amazon or eBay or something, obviously, because they're not new, some of them, you may get a better price. But the strange thing is, I ran a test and I looked for a logo PLC a couple of days ago, and it's not that inexpensive anymore. This price I got for new last year, and it was a little bit more focused on this price. I think it was $220 new. But now that I think about it, is uh, looking for a low tier price. You guys need to be very careful that this shouldn't be that expensive, especially if you only want to practice to know how to reprogram and how to use the process. Using the PLC to connect it and run your practice or your drills, I recommend that you use a low tier PLC, even a used PLC, someone that can guarantee that the device is working. But also, please keep in mind that there needs to be a voltage where you can connect it really at home and look for 110 feed for your region. If it's 220, get a PLC that also has an integrated source for 220 so that you guys can save up on that part. Because when we're starting, everything costs. Okay? The newer it is, the higher the price. So animated PLC is very economical and you can simulate basically 100 processes. So here with a PLC, you can buy it and you can connect all its inputs, connect all motors so that you can simulate for example, the traffic light or other drills. And remember also, here in our course, the drills are predefined. There's some that they say, you know what? Here's your PLC, you build it. So we like to show you how to build them and how to connect them to our conveyor belt. But it takes quite a long time. So we're learning, sorry, with these courses how to program basically when you have your physical PLC. It's going to be very easy, very simple, and you'll go directly to any questions you have to the point to know what it is you have to do. Okay, so we have mid-tier PLCs also, and if you notice, we get a spike in prices from 800 to $7,000. So all we need are the inputs and outputs because these PLCs are generally more modular and they start expanding. So for low tier PLCs, we have on our left side Siemens. And let's see here. Sorry about the writing. My penmanship is very basic. So we have Siemens on this side, and on our right side, we have Allen Bradley or Rockwell Automation as an example. Now, also, here we have Siemens and Allen Bradley, and same goes for this side, Siemens and Allen Bradley. Now, this is a logo, this is a Micrologix, but the one that we have here, this is a Picologix, which is also a bottom tier. On this one is an SC7 1200, which I'm currently also updating for PSC7, which is this is an SC7 1200. And on this side, we have a Compact Logix, mid-tier. On our left side, upper tier, they're more expensive. Base price is $4,000, which is crazy, all the way up to $15,000 and upwards. So PLCs prices are rising only for processors. So if you notice, we have to simulate drills. By simulating drills in real life, it's going to be very, very expensive. So that's why as we start getting experience and taking physical projects, it takes a little bit of time. So what we need to do is we need to simplify all of this and directly start simulating. And that we have concrete explanations on how to solve them. All right. Now on this side, we have S7 1500 for Siemens. And on this side, we have our Contrologix. Now don't be fooled by the size. They're small, but they're small in size, but they have great potency. They're very potent. Okay, so these are tiered. These have less memory than these. This one has more memory. This one obviously has more memory than both of these. So it goes from less memory to most memory, from least to most. So here we have more inputs and outputs, but compared to these two, logically, these are more potent. Now, also for upper tier PLCs, we can integrate basically more devices plus more automation specialties. So here we can take motion or motion control. When we talk about motion, we're talking about servos. Sorry about the handwriting. And here we also take motion, but it's not the same amount of axes. Axes are servo motors, so it all depends on the model type. Some of them have 16 axes. These also take more than 100 axes. So basically, one PLC of this magnitude can control all processes in a plant. A brain of this size can control a whole plant, one full manufacturing company. Okay? Logically, bigger companies, what they wish is to have all their independent processes. But with upper tier PLCs, more robust, very trustworthy, and that's a different characteristic. They can work 24/7. So what do you think, guys? It's very simple, right? So keep in mind these concepts, or keep these concepts in mind, so that for PLC, you know what we're talking. When we're talking about PLC, you know what we're talking about. Lower, mid, and top tier. So after this, let's move on to our next topic, our next class, which is very interesting, and let's go there. Big hug, guys.